was really difficult because Grant was having a really hard time. He was struggling. I was pretty much the reason why he did the show to begin with. He really didn't want to do the show, and I convinced him that it was the right thing to do because I thought it would be a good opportunity for him to go back to kind of his roots and kind of like give those own wins back to himself, but more importantly, it would give him an opportunity to get in front of an audience who might not be on the social media platforms, an opportunity to see and to learn from him. And you know, as his biggest fan, I think his data is just invaluable. It's so important and life-changing, and I've seen it firsthand with myself and with so many other people that he's influenced. So I convinced him to do the show, which he was pretty resentful for, and now he shows up in Pueblo, Colorado without and it was difficult for him because he couldn't use his resources or his assets, right? And so he would be calling me every single night, really upset that he was convinced to do this, and I kept thinking for a second, maybe I made a mistake, because he would call me and then it would always end up where he'd hang up on me. and like, because he was so upset. And it was like night after night after night that this was happening. And finally, I just got really kind of wise to the situation, and because I kept trying to be this cheerleader, like, you can do this, and people need you, and you're so amazing, and your information's awesome. And I thought, okay, I'm gonna be this good wife cheerleader and get him through this. And every single time it was met with, you don't understand, click. So that's when I got smart, and I said, okay, next time he calls, and I wrote down on a piece of paper a list of all the people. And it turned out to be a pretty significant list of all the people that would have loved to have seen him fail, either from early on in his childhood or even to current times, or to people that we've run into challenges with, all the haters. And I just wrote all the names down. And so the next time he called, I just started saying, blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. First name, last name, first name, last name. By the time I had a list of about 20 people, but by the time I got to maybe the third or the fourth person, he went, okay, I got it. And he hung up on me again. But this time his whole entire mind shifted, and he was really motivated to win in spite of all the haters. So we were able to kind of course correct him. Now, in terms of on my side of things, because he was going through so much, he didn't have his children, he didn't have his wife, his resources to the office, to this, he was struggling. I felt like I couldn't then burden him with everything that I'm going through. So, and there was a lot going on at that time. We had, well, first of all, he was away, and there's life and about a million things that come at me every single day. Not that I'm complaining, but it's just part of the reality that is our life. And then, so he goes to Pueblo, and then he comes back, and we have the COVID situation. So the show gets shut down. He comes back home for a brief period of time. And in that period of time, it became even more difficult because as a business owner, when COVID happened and the world shut down, it exposed massive vulnerabilities in our organization, primarily this one entire department, where we had to make Grant had to make a very important decision. And of course, I supported that decision, but was we had to let go. We chose to let go an entire division in our organization. Because we didn't know how long the problem was going to be, and we couldn't afford to bleed out. So we took a cut in employees. It was very painful for us, extremely painful. But it was a decision that we had to make in order to protect the whole of everything. We had to cut out, for lack of a better word, like the cancer area. you know, and so we took a lot of heat from the public for that. A lot of people that don't own businesses and don't understand what it means to be a leader and to have to make very difficult decisions in order to protect the longevity and the livelihood of the entire organization. And difficult choices have to be made. So we were under a lot of heat for that. And then there was this kind of joke that went out about him being bankrupt, which was him kind of doing a play on of his experience at Undercover Billionaire. But then that blew up to this, oh, we're bankrupt. And it was just, it was a lot going on. You know, it was really difficult with the people who still were at our organization, who were on a pay cut, by the way, who are now still having to try to sell grants, products, and services into companies. But there's all these rumors going around and uncertainty. It was a very difficult time, to say the least. I don't need to harp on it any more than I did. But he goes back into Undercover Billionaire, and we have all these stresses going on. And a lot of times, you know, the stresses that are going on in the real world also affect the marriage. So 2020 was a very challenging year for our marriage. We pulled through. It was a very hard year. But in hindsight, I made a decision back then. I know he did. We made a decision. We were going to pull out of that event bigger, badder, and better. And as a result, I kept saying, I'm going to make everything that we've ever done look like child's play in comparison. So we've been on a nonstop mission ever since. By the way, we've already hired back double, and I think almost triple at this point, the amount of people that we've let go, we've rehired back in the offices. So, and we're winning big.